What I wanted to talk about today was kind of an enlightening experience that I had with one of my mentors who really helped me kind of structure and solidify kind of what I'm all about and what makes me tick. Why am I here? Why do I do what I do? Um, as an orthopedic surgeon, there's a lot of impact that we have in people's lives. There's a lot of tangible, practical things that we do on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of things for humanity and society that we're doing. But, Brad sat me down one day and really pushed me to think about why I'm doing what I'm doing and really to think deep and hard about what exactly is the meaning of what I'm doing and who I am, and to really try to find, quote unquote, your calling and see if it aligns with what you do every day. Because, when you go through an exercise like he had me go through, you may actually find some surprising things about yourself and what motivates you and what you find rewarding. It was a very simple exercise. We did it a couple of months ago. And basically what we did was we sat down and framed kind of three big buckets of things about me. And I think, anybody can do this at any time in their careers. I would advise all of you to engage in this kind of exercise because it really opened up my eyes. So I wanted to make this video and kind of describe this journey that I went on with Brad about how I found my calling. And when we started, we looked at things that I really loved to do. And I listed them all out. And then I listed and talked about things that I'm good at or things that I'm proficient at. And then I looked at things that I potentially could profit from or things I could be paid to do. And we had three big circles all listed with things inside them. And we made sort of a Venn diagram. So things that you're really passionate about or things that you love would go in one circle. The second circle is things that you're proficient at or so things that you're good at. And then the third circle are things that could bring you profitability, things that you can make money doing or generate revenue from. Now, if you look at the intersection of these three circles, if you have something that you're really, really passionate about and you're really, really good at it, but you don't necessarily make money from it, as you can see over here, that's probably going to be a hobby. And if you have something that you're really, really good at that you can make money doing, but you're not particularly passionate about it or you don't love it, then you're probably going to be bored. And the third scenario, if you have two of the things satisfied, are going to be something that you're really passionate about or something that you really love and something that you can make money at, but you're not particularly good at it. That's more of like a failure. And I think a lot of professionals such as myself are probably in this category where we tend to do jobs where we're really, really good at it and we make money doing it. So we do it. But we don't always have that passion. And you may surprise yourself when you kind of go through this exercise. For me personally, things that I love to do, I love to learn. I've always been a lifelong learner. I'm a self-proclaimed nerd. I love being outside. I love baking. Oddly enough, I'm a huge baker of chocolate goods. I love to laugh. I love to play and be funny. I love to play sports. I'm a huge instrument fan, so I play the piano. I play the trumpet. Very well, but I've also dabbled in the saxophone and the drums and the violin, and I love building things and constructing things. So when I was a kid, getting something out of a box, out of IKEA that you can kind of put together, those are the kind of things that I've always loved to do. So these are things that I would do in my spare time. I do on nights and weekends. I do totally for free because they bring me joy. So next, we go to the things that I think I'm proficient at or things that I'm good at. Well, I've always thought of myself as an innovator. always think of myself as somebody who is a leader in the digital health space. I feel like I ask really, really good questions. I'm a good listener. I think I can motivate those around me, both at my level and the people that report to me. I've always found myself to be a sacrificer for others, and that makes sense. I'm in the healthcare profession as a physician and a surgeon. And I've always liked to empower other people and felt that I'm good at empowering those around me to achieve their greatest goals. And lastly, when I did the exercise, I thought about things that I could or do make money, things that I could do to make money. And if I had in a perfect world, I would probably be a musician, somebody who's loved music and loved instruments. If I could be paid to do that, I would probably do that. I always fancied myself as a baker, or maybe even the chief medical officer of a startup, as you can see down here. A construction worker, it's interesting, but as an orthopedic surgeon, I feel like I'm a construction worker for the body. And when I was a kid growing up, I always wanted to do that. When I saw houses being erected and built and buildings being built in my neighborhood, I always thought it was really cool what the guys and gals were doing. And that's something that I thought I could always do. Being a problem solver, is something that I've always thought that I could do for other people, help them work through and think through their own challenges. And maybe someday being a chief wellness officer. I like trying to, find like this talk. I'm trying to help people find their calling. I help to be a motivational speaker for residents and medical students. So that could be potentially a source of revenue. So one thing that is very obvious that's not on this screen anywhere is orthopedic surgery. And you would think that I omitted it intentionally, but when I got really excited during this exercise and writing all the things that I love to do and the things that I think I'm good at, I realized that orthopedic surgery is nowhere to be found on this sheet of paper when I did this exercise. And that was very eye-opening. I'm 41 years old, and I've had my job as an attending surgeon for about 8 years now. And I spent 15 years, excuse me. I spent 15 years after high school to be able to get my job. So I graduated high school when I was 17. I did not get my first real paying job until I was 32 years old. That's basically half of my adult life, striving to and achieving the status of becoming an orthopedic surgeon. And here I am when I list everything in my world in these three big buckets and the things that I like to do, things that I'm good at, things I could be paid to do. Orthopedic surgery is absent. And I nearly cried when I saw that. Here I am. I wake up every day at God knows whatever hour. I leave my kids and my family and I go down to the hospital. And it's not even really something that I'm truly, truly passionate about. And that's okay. I don't necessarily feel bad about that. I'm good at what I do and I help people and I'm contributing to society in a very positive way. But I felt like I had to really reevaluate what I'm all about and what my calling is. So when I really honed down on some of these things in the Venn diagram, I kind of picked out things that I felt were most important to me. And I really, really love to learn. I really love digital health and innovation in the digital health space. And I love being a problem solver. So when I combined all of those three things, I came up with AOT, or for those of you that don't know, Atanda Orthopedic Telemedicine. And this is a very small company of one. I am the founder, the CEO, the president, vice president, and secretary, and all the other jobs of this company. It is an established LLC, but it's basically a repository for any funds that I generate through consulting, through doing e-consults and provider-to-provider consults, because I think it combines all the three things that make up the big buckets of my life and my mission and my purpose. And, when I came up with that, it was very exciting because, obviously I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I have to treat my patients. I have to be a part of my orthopedic department and be a servant to my hospital. but I wanted to find something that I can use to push me personally, something that I can do to serve myself, something I can do to help drive me. My consulting firm doesn't make nearly as much money as my regular day job, but as a side gig, I think it's very, very powerful. Um, and I really feel that discovering this calling of mine and realizing that I can combine all these things into something that's truly meaningful and motivational for me personally was very helpful because it put a lot of things in perspective. Because now I still go to my job, I still do my job, I still take care of my patients, I still love what I do. But I realize that I mostly do it because I'm really, really good at it. And I need to make money. And that's okay. I felt bad about that at first. As a physician and as a surgeon, you should be full of altruism and philanthropy and doing, everything for the greater good of mankind and sacrificing yourself. But I'm only human, and I'm a real person, and there are things that drive and motivate me, and I'm glad I do what I do. But this LLC that I have is something that motivates me personally, and I'm more than happy to share it with the public. I share it with my kids and my friends and my family, and it provides me meaning. So I would encourage all of you out there to go on a similar journey. And it sounds very kind of foo-foo to say, and very touchy-feely and very mushy, but I think if you go through this kind of exercise, not just once, but very routinely, maybe even once every couple of years, once a year, and really reevaluate who you are and where you're at, and why you do what you do, I think it can be very kind of cathartic and eye-opening and very fulfilling and enriching to what you do every day. Because it's very easy to get caught up in the day-to-day life of going to work and feeding the kids and making money and investing and saving for college and that sort of thing. But it is nice to kind of reevaluate your purpose. And for me personally, just to share, a lot of you who know me, my family is an immigrant family from Ghana. I am the youngest of 7 kids, and all of my 6 older siblings are college educated and have gone to graduate school. So there was a lot of kind of indirect pressure on me. Most of it was pressure that I put on myself, but it was always expected that I would go to college and get a terminal degree in something. And for me, when I was 16 and 17 and I thought of something that I should do, I actually really thought about being a music major or becoming a musician. But in the context of my family, I personally didn't think um, it would fit in. And I didn't think it was necessarily the appropriate thing to do. And I wanted to make my parents proud and my siblings proud. So rather than just go straight for something that I truly, truly loved, like music, I took a little bit of a safer route, something that could get me a secure job, something that could bring in revenue, something that would be respected amongst my family members and my siblings. And, obviously I turned out perfectly fine, but it was interesting to really look back and think about my career choice and why I did what I did. Because at the time, I didn't really sit down and analyze it. I just kind of went with the flow and did what I thought was the right thing to do. Um, if I could do it again, I think I would seriously consider being a musician, because it's something that I truly, truly loved. The trade-off would be, well, I may not have as a secure of a job as I have now. I may not have secure wealth and financial revenue that I have now, but who knows if I would be worse off, because maybe I'd be better off because I'm doing something I truly, truly love as opposed to something that I just like and that I'm good at and can pay the bills. But regardless, everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own journey. And this was a great experience for me, and I wanted to share that with you all. And I really think that if you are confident enough and if you're able to be vulnerable enough, I really would recommend this as an exercise for anybody, regardless of your career path or career choice or who you are or your socioeconomic status, your education level, because I think it can be something that will really open your eyes and can be very rewarding for you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more videos to come.